Hi everyone, we are currently busy with Numbers 1, topic surds, and in this video I'll be explaining exercise 5, task D. Right, this is also addition and subtraction of surds, but before we can add and subtract these surds, we're going to have to manipulate them to make the surds the same before we can add and subtract them. Right, so for number 1, we've got surd 8 plus surd 2. First of all, we need to change this surd 8 so that it is also containing a surd 2 so that we can in fact add them. So I'm going to say 4 times 2 is the same as 8 plus surd 2. And then I'm going to take the square root of 4, which is 2, surd 2 plus surd 2. Now remember, if there's nothing written in front of the surd, it means it's a 1. So 2 plus 1 equals 3, and the surds stay exactly the same. So that one is 3 surd 2. For number 2, we've got surd 18 subtract surd 2. Again, we need to change this one or simplify it, and I'm going to say that it's 9 times 2 is 18, subtract surd 2. The square root of 9 is 3, surd 2 minus surd 2. So 3 minus that imaginary 1 is 2 surd 2. So the answer for this one is 2 surd 2. For number 3, we've got surd 125 minus 5 surd 5. We need to manipulate this one to get it smaller. I would say 25 times 5 equals 125. Minus 5 surd 5. Then we take the square root of 25, which is 5 surd 5 minus 5 surd 5. 5 minus 5 is 0, and 0 times surd 5 is also 0. So the answer for number 3, 0. For number 4, we've got surd 48 subtract surd 12. Now, we are going to have to manipulate both of these so that they are the same. So, for 48, I'm going to say 16 times 3 equals 48. And for 12, the biggest square number that can divide into there is 4. So, 4 times 3 is also equal to 12. Then I'm going to take the square root of 16, which is 4. The surd 3 remains. Subtract. The square root of 4 is 2. The surd 3 remains. 4 minus 2 is 2 surd 3. We can only subtract these two because they've got exactly the same surd. So for number 4, we've got 2 surd 3. Right, for number 5, we've got surd 32 plus surd 18. And we're going to have to manipulate both of them. Right, so the biggest square number that can divide into 32 is 16, and 16 times 2 will give me 32, plus, and the biggest square number that can divide into 18 is 9, and 9 times 2 will give me 18. The square root of 16 is 4, the surd 2 is left, plus, the square root of 9 is 3, and the surd remains. Because the surds are now the same, we can add them. 4 plus 3 is equal to 7, and the surd 2 remains exactly the same. So that answer is 7 surd 2. For number 6, we've got surd 75 subtract surd 12. We're going to have to make them smaller. The biggest square number that can divide into 75 is 25, and 25 times 3 will give me 75. Minus 12 is equal to 4 times 3. Right? The square root of 25 is 5. The surd 3 is left over. The square root of 4 is 2. The surd 3 is left over. 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. And the surd does not change. So the answer to that one is 3 surd 3. Let me just make some space here. Please, again, I cannot reiterate this enough. You need to show your working in exam. Do not only input this on a calculator. For number 7, we've got the square root of 45, subtract the square root of 20. Manipulating both of them, we get 9 times 5, subtract 4 times 5. Right, square root of 9 is 3, surd 5, subtract, the square root of 4 is 2, and the surd 5 is left over. 3 minus 2 is 1, and we don't have to write the 1, we can simply leave it as surd 5. Right, surd 63, subtract surd 28 will be simplified into 63 being 9 times 7, subtract, and the biggest square number that can divide into 28 is 4. 4 times 7 will give me 28. Take the square root of 9, that is 3, surd 7, subtract the square root of 4 is 2, and the surd 7 stays the same. 3 minus 2 is 1. We don't have to write the 1. The surd stays the same. So that one is surd 7. For the last one, we've got surd 20 plus surd 5. The 20 is, if we simplify it, is 4 times 5 plus surd 5. The square root of 4 is 2, surd 5 plus surd 5. And remember, there's an imaginary 1, so it's 2 plus 1 is 3, and the surd 5 does not change. And that is task D. Please watch the next video for task E.